Hey everyone, how's it going? And this week's YouTube video is going to be covering psychology and mindset. So this was the most requested subject that I've had in the last couple of weeks. And it's something that for me as a trader and as a trading coach, it's actually really, really important. I always say to my students that 50% of the equation is the technical aspect, the technical skill, the strategy, the ability to actually look at a chart and know when to buy, when to sell, and when to do nothing. But also, I think it's equally as important to have the right mindset. And I honestly think, because I've been through a journey as a trader from start to now, 8 years almost, I've been through quite a large enough cycle to know that it takes experience to learn that mindset, that psychology. It's not something that you can just be like, oh, I'm just going to learn how to trade, and then within 4 weeks I'm going to get the right mindset shift. I don't think it happens overnight. And there are books like Trading in the Zone and Atomic Habits and all these books that can teach you things about mindset, but still you have to go and you have to do that journey. You have to go through that process to realize, and for your subconscious to really sink in, that these are the certain things that you need to think. These are the certain rituals and habits that you need to put into place to be able to form discipline, which then plays into your trading, right? So first bit of advice I'd give is that you've got to give this process time. If you're starting out in trading, know that it's going to take anywhere between 3 and 5 years to become consistent. It's going to take probably 3 to 5 years to really find a strategy that you like, that you enjoy, that fits well with you and your personality and your characteristics and your lifestyle, because it's not a one glove fits all. But also know that it's probably going to take about 3, 4, 5 years to get your psychology right as well, because you're going to have to experience the whole cycle of a beginner trader to an intermediate, advanced or professional trader. You know, like at the very beginning, you've got the excitement. You're like, what is this? It's a new shiny object. And it looks like you could put $1 in and get $500 back. And that could happen. And you probably make a bit of money in your first week as a trader, and then you get more excitement. So what do? You double down on the risk and you lose it all. So it's like the boom and bust cycle, right? And you have that boom and bust cycle for probably a couple of years, depending on what education you go through, right? But then you've also got that psychological element. How do you deal with that? Now, it helps having a mentor or being in some kind of mentorship or a course that has a psychological element to it. But you're still going to have to experience these things. You're going to have to overcome the want and need, the urge to become excited about the market. And when you're losing a trade, or if you're running in a trade and it's in drawdown at the moment and it's so close to your stop loss, or you're in a losing streak, or you've just failed a funding challenge, or something goes wrong, and it's gonna go wrong, you need to have the ability to not let that negative situation bring you down and affect your next steps. And I honestly think that's a process that everyone has to go through. You have to become stronger. You have to form a thicker skin. So discipline, how to become more disciplined. Discipline for me is all about habits. It's about routines. And it's not easy to be disciplined. If it was, everyone would be disciplined. And I'm sure most people are not. Most people live month by month, week by week, day by day, even minute by minute, right? And it's just like, oh, I'll just see what happens today. And some days that can be okay. Like, I think it's probably important to have at least kind of one day a week where that happens, right? And for me, it's kind of like a Sunday where I don't really have any plans. I'm just dossing around with the kids. We'll go out, we'll do this, spur of the moment, right? But when it comes to your career as a trader, you can't be like that. So like Monday to Friday, I've already got my whole week planned. It's what time do I wake up in the morning? I'm thinking about life and business at the same time because they both interlink. So for me, I have 4 children. So I have to make sure, okay, what time do I need to get them up? What time do I get them ready for school? Am I taking them to school? What time am I back home again? How is that going to interrupt my trading, my London session? And this took years. My morning routine has changed so much. I used to get up at like 5:30 in the morning. First thing I'd do is I'd have a coffee, or I'd have a meditation session, or I'd have a quick workout, or I'd be reading a book, and then I'd be at the charts for like 6 a.m. and I'd be looking at the 1 minute chart. And it's like, I think it's just a process you have to go through, because it's important to be keen, right? We're all excited, we're all keen, we're here to be entrepreneurs and we want to be a successful trader, right? So you've got to be able to show up every day, and you've got to be willing to get up early, to go to bed late, to work at the weekends if you have to, until you've figured out the right path. But for me now, it's just so ingrained in my subconscious. I know exactly what works for me as a trader. I know my strategy like the back of my hand. Zero anxiety about missing trades or anything. It's just completely gone, mainly because we trade higher time frame now. So I'm looking at 4 hour for directional bias and entering off the 15-minute, not looking at anything lower than that. I've got so much more freedom because I'm spending way less time analyzing and trading, but also because I've been through that process and I'm disciplined. And if I take a loss, I don't care. If I take a win, I don't care. At the end of the month, at the end of the quarter, that's the important thing, your P&L. And it's about becoming as neutral as possible and having the right systems and processes and routines and habits. It's what's going to build that discipline. So are you able to trade only London and not New York? Are you able to trade only New York and not London? Maybe you're able to trade the Asia session. Whatever you want to do, make sure you go and test it first and make sure that works. And then just build your life around that, your routines, your habits and your rituals. And if you do that on a day-to-day basis for long enough, it becomes discipline. It becomes your subconscious. It's your new routine. You can't wake up on a Monday and do one thing and then a Tuesday wake up at a different time, do a different thing, or do your morning ritual backwards or in a different order. I mean, it's okay on the journey to creating that morning ritual, you're going to have to chop and change things, but give it time. Give it at least a month before you change one element, and don't throw the whole thing out the window just because you lost the trade. Just change one element. Get up half an hour earlier, half an hour later, get in the shower first, have a coffee second. You know, just little tweaks make a big difference, because everyone's morning routine is going to be slightly different and you got to make it work for you. How to make your mindset stronger. I've pretty much covered this at the start of the video. I honestly believe it's just experience in the market and experience in life, being able to live uncomfortably for a long period of time. It's the same if you go and run a business, you've got expenses to pay, you've got staff, you've got building insurance, you've got rent, you've got rates, you've got stock, you've got advertisement, you've got so much risk on the table, and the bets are against you when you open a business. 95% of businesses fail in the first year, 50% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. There's no difference with the trading. You know, trading has a bad name that 95% of traders fail. Yeah, but 95% of all businesses fail in the first year. So what's the difference? It's mainly that people make bad choices. They're not disciplined. They haven't got the right psychology. They over risk, over leverage, whether that's in trading or in business, and they don't give it enough time. They're not persistent with it, right? It takes at least 2-3 years when you open a new business to make profit enough that you can take an income, unless you're buying a business from someone else that's well established, but you need a big pot of money to do that. So there's no difference in trading, right? It takes at least a couple of years to be able to actually see some profits from that, because you've got to go through that journey, that cycle. So really it's about experience. To make your mindset stronger, you've got to put yourself in difficult situations. You've got to go through that losing streak multiple times. You've got to have your stop loss hit multiple times. You've got to go through that winning streak just to lose it all multiple times. Don't make the misconception that actually they're mistakes. It's not, it's lessons. And that's the building blocks. You lay your foundations with your first course, whoever you choose, and then the rest of it is just lessons. And that's what builds that stronger mentality, right? You take a challenge, you fail it. You spend 2 or 3 months reflecting on that and working on refinements, whether that's in your technical trading or whether it's your psychology on your routine, and you go back, you do another challenge, you fail it for a different reason. Okay, why did I fail it this time? Okay, journal it, analyze it, learn from it, take some time out, ask someone advice that's been there and done that, and then go do it again, right? It's all about experience. Like, I'm sat here 8 years deep. I'm not here eight days deep. Like, me 8 years ago as a trader would not have a clue what I was talking about. Absolutely no idea. And I'd be staring at the charts for like 8 hours a day, just trying to figure stuff out, completely lost. Whereas now I'm just completely chilled. I'm actually in a trade at the moment. I'm in euro dollar long from this morning, and quite a lot of the community are in GU as well. As missed GU entry for being on the school run. This is something to add in there. If, for example, there is a part of the day that you cannot trade because of an external thing, like you go to work or you're traveling or you've got children and you miss a trade, do not let that impact you. And that used to eat me up. Like, I ran a business before and I'd be going and have meetings, and I'd be like, right, I want to get back for New York session, but that meeting would run over, or I'd bump into someone and they'd want to stop and have a chat with me, and I'd be like, okay, I'll just talk to you for 10 minutes. Ends up being an hour-long conversation, and I go back to the charts and I missed a trade that I've been waiting for the last 3 or 4 days, and it used to eat me up. And I used to do the school run. I still do the school run, but I used to pick the kids up from school in the afternoon. I'd just drop them off in the morning. I'd come back and be like, oh, I missed the trade by like 7 minutes. It used to eat me up. This is what I mean. I was still going through that journey. My skin wasn't thick enough. I had to learn and experience these things. So this morning, for example, I take my kids to school, I come back and I realized that there was a long opportunity that fit all of the criteria, was a very good counter trend play. Quite a lot of the community, plus Tom, one of the coaches at Evolution, took that trade, and I posted in Discord, I was on the school run, so that trade wasn't for me. That was never my trade, right? I'm not gonna crash the car to be in a trade and put mine and my children's life at risk. And I'm not gonna just not send him to school on the fear of missing out on a trade. I'll just wait. And by the time I got back, like, I'd made myself a coffee, got to the charts. Oh, there's a setup on EU, I'll take that instead. And that's running like 2% profit at the minute. So just don't feel like you have to be in every single opportunity, because that's not going to instill any discipline or any patience at all. It's not going to serve you in any way whatsoever. If you miss a trade, that's fine. You know what? Sometimes I miss losing trades for not being at the charts. So it's all swings and roundabouts. And here's a big one. So how to mentally prepare yourself for a funding challenge. This is quite a specific one. I'll probably do a separate video on this altogether. So first of all, think about everything that I've already just said. That depending on where you are in your journey, how many years you are, how many months you are deep from zero to not knowing, well, from not knowing what Forex is to where you are now, because everyone watching this video is going to be at different stages. You could be 3 weeks in or 3 years in, right? But before you touch a funding challenge, you need to have a strategy nailed down that you can read off just the back of your mind without having to flick through pages of a trade plan or read bullet points criteria. It needs to be all up in here. Not only that, but you need to have collected data on that trade plan, on the pair or pairs that you are trading or going to trade during that challenge for at least a 12-month period. And you need to have done that at least 2 or 3 times over, because every time you go over it, you'll see something different. And that builds the subconscious skill. It builds some psychology, although backtesting and live trading are 2 different things. And even live trading and trading on a funding challenge are 2 different things as well. But it also gains that confidence, right? If you backtest a strategy over and over and over again, and every single month you make profit, even if it's 2% one month and then 16% the next month, you know that you're always in positive at the end of every month when you're testing. Then you know that if you just apply that trade plan in your live trading and on a funding account, a challenge, then you know that you're likely to pass it. Depending on your strike rate, depending on how much percent you make in a month in your live trading this is, and what your availability is like. Do you work during the day? Are you only able to trade 1 session or 2? Because that can hinder the opportunity that you've got. I would really think about what kind of challenge you're taking. Are you taking one with a 30-day limit? Because if you're taking a funding challenge with a 30-day limit, that's really messing with your psychology. When you think about it, when you're back testing or when you're just live trading on a small personal account, for example, is someone behind you saying, you've only got 27 days left? You've only got 5 days left. No one's telling you this shit. So you don't even have that emotion. You might be thinking, oh, I want to quit my 9 to 5. I hate my job. I want to get a paycheck from trading. So I'm going to like just be in the market and just take loads of trades and make loads of money, right? I mean, you got to go through that journey anyway to realize it's not the way to go. But at the end of the day, there's no rush. Like you could take 1 or 2 trades. I think I took 2 trades in April last month. I took like 2 trades in the whole month, something like that. Stupid, right? Just like it was a really dry month and just wasn't really much that set up. March was very good, very fruitful. Double figures in March, single figures in April, and now up again. I'm running like 4% for May or something. And that's why the market will just give you what the market provides. You can't say I'm going to make 10, 15% every single month, no matter what pair I trade, and I'm going to pass a challenge just like that. But so if you take like a no time limit challenge, then you know that all you have to do is to stick to your plan and not overtrade and adhere to the max drawdown and the daily drawdown rules. Don't trade news, stuff like that, the stuff that you should be doing anyway. And if you feel at all emotional, go look yourself in the mirror and actually ask yourself that question. Is taking this trade right now going to benefit me or not? And look yourself in the eye and say, is this trade going to benefit me? Yes or no? And if the answer is no, even subconsciously, don't take it. Take every single trade theoretically, not emotionally. It doesn't matter if you're 2 or 3 weeks into the challenge or 2 or 3 hours into it. Just take your time, right? But obviously I've skipped into talking about why you're on a challenge. It's mostly about before you even start to take that challenge. You've got to have some consistency. You've got to open a live account. After you've done that serious data collection, that back testing on those pairs, on your strategy, the strategy that fits in with your lifestyle. If you're working a full-time job, you shouldn't be trading the lower time frame. You should be going up a few time frames, like stick to daily or 4-hour direction and 30 to 15 minute entry. 5 minute even probably is too fast if you're working a full-time job. And also, you don't want to be stuck at the screen for like 6-7 hours a day. Like I probably spend less than 20 minutes a day in total looking at the charts. The only time that I would spend a little bit more is if I'm answering someone's question, they've sent me their chart to look at and I'm giving them some advice. But for my own trading, I'm looking at the charts probably 15-20 minutes a day max. But that's taken me time to do that, right? So yeah, for preparing yourself for a challenge, you gotta make sure you've got some experience in the market, right? You've got to make sure you've got a strategy that you know subconsciously. Like if I were to look you in the eye and say, tell me what your strategy is, I don't want you looking at your phone or a piece of paper anywhere. I want you to just like say it straight away with no hesitation. That's how well you should know it. And you should also know, at least written down somewhere, what your typical strike rate is on that, what your typical monthly return is on that strategy per pair that you're trading. You need to know that statistics because it trains your subconscious to know what your strategy is. It also gives you that confidence to know that that strategy is going to work. And then make sure that once you are ready to take a challenge, after maybe 2 or 3 months of consistency and finishing each month on a personal account in profit, at least I'd say 3 months, then go do a challenge with no time limit. That would be my personal recommendation if someone was asking me that question now. So yeah, there's a bit of mindset stuff for you. And thanks for those guys and girls that submitted the questions on that and submitted the ideas. I like the idea of doing this. So if you want to comment below and let me know what topic you want to do next, maybe I'll do a whole video on prop firm challenges, or maybe I'll do like something technical. Just let me know what you want to see. And if you enjoyed the video, if you took some value, please like it. And make sure you click subscribe. We get a lot of people watching the videos that aren't subscribed. It really helps the channel reach more people. And if the channel continues to grow, then I will continue to plug these videos. So thanks for watching and see you later.